What's up? What's up? What's up, Denny O Fools? Clint Cole, Jeff Bowery, TPG, Matt HM, M. Let's see, Pie Guy. I think I saw Lance earlier. I think that might be all. Tools and Twisties. What's up, Tools and Twisties? I've watched a few of your videos in the last little bit. What's up, Terry Burton? Rana. I always have a hard time putting your words together. I'm going to say our gang. I'm going to say Rana our gang. Rana our gang. Nice Buc-ee's mug. Yeah, I got this week. I went to Buc-ee's to look for the mini buckets, and my Buc-ee's didn't have any. I don't know if anybody else has went to a Buc-ee's. I'm assuming there's such a thing. I've seen them online, but I asked the people that were working in the store if they'd seen any mini buckets, and the girl didn't act like she knew what I was talking about, but I only asked one person. So mine didn't have them out. Like I've got here in the last year, we've had a Buc-ee's pretty much just right down the road from me open up. So what's up? It's mad. It's mad you text. Everybody's words when they go together, sometimes it takes you a little bit while to figure out what it might be saying. It's mad you Texas. What's up, Pie Guy? If you were to make your magnet hanger for your Fluke meter over again, would you do anything differently? No, that's pretty much. I don't know of anything else I could do. Ultimately, I'd like to just have something on the back of it, and I didn't have to mess with that. But I couldn't. There's ways. I opened mine up to see if I could put like a screw through it or something like that. But that method right there, I like it because I can kind of take it on and off, and just if I don't want to use it, it's not my way, and if I want to use it, it's good. I didn't want to drill a hole in the back of my meter and then something not pan out right. So far, it's working for me. KM 1138A picked up that sale at Lowe's on the Klein wrenches. Large end ratchet is faulty. So these guys, these ones right here. I don't use this big one very much, but I've also got the Klein ratchet wrenches in my truck all the time, like the whole row of metric and SAE. And then I've also got the Gador of these, but I keep the small Klein one in my bag, like, cause those are usually the sizes I use the most are on the small one. And then I've got bigger wrenches in my truck if I run into these. I don't mess with Unistrut or stuff like that nowhere near. Like now that I'm out on my own, I don't really get into that kind of work as much. But there's several people that have had issues, I think, with that one. I haven't had any, but I don't use my big one very much. I need the Klein ratcheting wrenches. Yeah, they were on sale a long time ago for pretty cheap, and then they went back up. Like I think when they first came out, and I'm talking about not those, but the actual ratchet wrenches. When they first came out, I think I bought mine. It's in a row, like I guess they're in individual rows, like a metric set and a SAE set. But it was all at one time, I think, when I bought them. But when they first came out, they were like $100 a piece, and then they dropped them down. I think I want to say I got mine for $39 a piece or something like that at one time. I can't remember. I made a small video about it a long time ago, but then they went back up to 59. I think they've been 79 most of the time. Every now and then you'll see them at 59. Thinking about putting shrink tubing around the threads. Yeah, you could do that for sure if you wanted to make it look like it was more of a solid, like all one kind of piece thing. I stand by Husky and Gador. Yeah, that was the biggest in the Klein video of that. Whenever I made a video for it, not the post or anything, I think one of the number one mostly that people were saying that they liked was the Husky version for the price. Sets with the Rose were on super sale about a year ago. Yeah, that's when I picked mine up. Tanner said he got his for $29.99. That's what they were last summer. Yeah, they almost, it's like they well, I think what they did was they got rid of, because how I bought mine in the rolls, like they don't sell them like that now. They're just in a package, like a blister package at Lowe's. Like mine are in a glass case at Lowe's. And so I guess they clearance those out just to get rid of that SKU maybe and transition into that other one. So maybe that's what they ended up doing. So I got the Acme Tools thing in the mail. I don't know how many y'all get these. I get these. I think Ohio Power Tool might send me one because I bought from them a couple times. That's about it. I always look forward to getting like that's the only time of the year I even buy like a Sunday paper. Like the big one is whenever like the Black Friday deals and stuff to go through all the stuff. I didn't really see a lot in here. I don't know if any of y'all have looked at this. I picked out a few of the things on there that I thought were decent deals, but there's really nothing in here in my mind that's just like, wow. Like most of the stuff I've seen it on sale for this already, most of the year already. So I don't know if y'all get these in the mail or not. What's up, Mac? My son's flag football games are now on Thursday, 3-0, going for 4. Nice. One thing I saw in here, I'll probably come around to that other side so I can tell what I'm showing you. So I didn't really see much on this page. There's those construction jacks for $89, but you can get the DeWalt ones on Amazon for right around that same price. And me personally, I've never owned these, so I can't say, but I've got the DeWalt, and the way that the handle works is phenomenal. I'd buy the DeWalt ones for $90 if it was me. This was something that I didn't think was too bad of a deal. You get 6 oscillating blades and a case for $24.97. That comes out to, what's that come out to? $4 a piece. It's not bad for plus you're getting the case. I think the case, I put a link in the shop button. I went and found all these, and it's got a different looking case in the shop button, like online, than what it's got right here. But that's not a bad deal for them. Milwaukee blades are pretty decent. $4 a piece isn't bad. None of this other stuff I saw on here. There's those wrenches that I just recently picked up. So Acme's got those too, but you can also get those at Home Depot in the metric and SAE. Let's see. This is pretty good if there's any of you guys out there that are do framing and things. Like that's actually pretty handy. I don't have one. But my buddy's got one, and it's pretty nice to have that sometimes. A big square that folds out to a 3x4x5. Get you a little farther. Let's see. Oh, here. This isn't necessarily a good deal. I was just going to ask, anybody buy this yet? This pack out nailing pad. Has anybody bought this pack out nailing pad yet? Curious if it's any good, because my thought was it's nice that it hooks into pack out. My store is never going to carry this, so I'm never going to know unless I buy one and order it and ship it. But I would think this hard bottom on it, like the difference of that versus, where's my gear wrench? What I do with my other one? I would think having that plastic bottom on the bottom of it. I think my gear wrench one's down there in my other building. I would think having that plastic bottom on it would be like, for one, if you put that on like a kitchen floor or something or other, because you're getting in a sink, you might scratch somebody's floor or whatever. So that's why I don't really think this is a good idea. It's nice that it clicks into pack out, but now maybe if you want to put that on a pack out crate and turn it into a seat topper or something like that, but that's awful expensive, for that. Let's see. I went around. If I see a highlighted thing, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, none of these are all they're actually one-day deals over here on Milwaukee, and all of them are pretty much stuff I've already seen all year round. I don't see anything amazing there. Here's some codes in case you guys don't get the Acme Tools thing in the mail. There's some Klein codes to get, $25, $50, $100 off. Some others, so you can check back if you decide you're going to buy something. You might check back and pause and zoom if you don't get this in your mail. I'm sure that probably those codes are probably online somewhere too. Nothing highlighted there. Nothing highlighted there. I'll hold them out there in case somebody wants to go back later and zoom. Yeah, I just didn't see. I thought this was this wasn't a bad deal for this. Get that 5-in-1, the Flexi Click from Bosch, on sale for $159. It comes with 2 batteries. Everybody always says how much they like that one better than the installation driver, but not a lot of deals in there, in my opinion. That's, well, I mean, it's not that there's not deals. They're just not anything that's like, you know, used to on Black Friday. It was like you really got some stuff for really cheap, but all that stuff looks like the same sales you see every quarter that pop out up on the big board at Home Depot or, you know, wherever else. Let's see what I missed. What's up, Lexi? Change my at. Ryan did. Ryan Nargang. Haven't seen anything on any Black Friday ad that I'm really wanting. No, I know that like Home Depot and Lowe's are obviously they're gonna have their ladders. You know, like if you ever need a ladder, like Black Friday is definitely the time to go buy, and that's just your general run of the mill 4, 6, and 8 foot ladder, like nothing like the basic one, you know, that they sell at Home Depot and Lowe's. Those are always on sale. Usually like the Gorilla ladders, the you know, the A-frame that turn into an extension ladder. They'll have those on sale, I'm sure. Matter of fact, I mean, they've already got them on sale now, but usually on Black Friday, like Home Depot will have like a $29.99 4-foot ladder or something like that. Seems like Black Friday gets longer and more hyped every year with fewer and fewer truly good deals. Yeah. And like I never go to stores. Like I don't even mess with that. But I do. It's nice because Home Depot and Lowe's both kind of just put all their stuff out for weeks ahead of time. And then they'll, like I said, they'll have a few things that will be that day only, but it's nothing that, you know, it's worth me going down there and getting in that mess for. Uh, but I do like that they kind of just put a sale out for a long time because then it just lets you go to the store and buy the stuff that you want. But I think that that's made it be where it's just like a regular sale now. It's not really like the big sales that they used to be. Like if you went on the actual day and that was the only day the sales were and all those kinds of things, it seemed like those were better deals than what they are now. I felt the non-pack out version. It's nice. I just use the Husky pad. It works for amazing for the price. Don Mendenhall said that's the one I actually keep in my truck, and it is pretty nice. The Husky one for I think it's like $15, $14.98 or something like that. About that thick. It's pretty nice. I've got a gear wrench one that I think I might have put it in a tool haul. I think I took it down there to my other building the other day because I was doing something down there. It's pretty nice too. But the Husky one's the most comfortable one that I've ever used as far as on your knees. What's up, Breaking Free? Dot Shorty in Australia. Have you had a chance to compare the Weehaw Pocket Max to the new Klein? I don't have the Weehaw Pocket Max. The only Weehaw insulated screwdriver I've got is this one, and it just takes 1-inch bits, so it doesn't take like blades and stuff. So this is a 1/4 inch up here, so that's different than the Pocket Max. I don't have any of the Weehaw blades. I was looking around, like the Weehaw Pocket Max is actually on sale right now for $26. Matt sent me a message about that because I started to look for, I was just going to order one blade just to order it and get it and see if it worked in it or not, just to answer that question. But at the blades are like $12. You almost might as well order the Pocket Max screwdriver. But are the Pocket Max blades the same size as all the other Weehaw blades, or does Weehaw have 2 or 3 different sets whenever it gets into it? I don't know the answer to that. So I do love me the Flexi Click. Gorilla planks aren't cheap anymore. The O knife Duron is 50% off, Someway said. That's not a bad knife. It's actually pretty nice. I'm not a big that kind of knife person, but it's a pretty nice looking knife. And the blade size and everything on that's probably a more useful blade size than the other one, the Ion that they sent me. Pocket Max is $25 on Amazon if you wanted one. Yeah. Black Friday deals are all hype. All I use now are my Klein knee pads. I wear them under my true work pants. Yeah, you said you bought some of the ones like what I keep in my truck, the slip-on sleeve ones. I wear them. I don't wear them every day, like all day. There's plenty of times where I do a job and I'm like, I wish I'd have went ahead and put them things on. But like any job where I know I'm going to get down, whether I'm crawling in an attic or something like that, or, you know, doing baseboard or whatever, that's when I put them on. If you want a plastic bottom, neither, go to Concrete Area Lowe's, Marshalltown. Yeah, I think the pack out one, like I said, in my mind, just thinking about it again, my store's never going to carry that. I can tell you that. They just don't carry stuff like that to actually look at it. But if it's got the pack out feet on the bottom, and I think about how I use mine, because I use mine outside some, but I primarily use mine like in people's houses on their floor, like working in a sink, and whether it's in a bathroom or a kitchen or whatever, I stick it out there in front, and I'm just picturing myself laying that on a hardwood floor and me scooting around on them. Just like, I don't think that's a good idea. Home Depot puts the same tools up every year. Yeah, Black Friday for me, for the most part, is consumable supply sale, like restock time. Basically, like they usually put gloves, but again, it's those things are usually on sale at other times during the year for the same price. But by the time I get to this time of year, I kind of know how much money I've got to play around with before the end of the year for taxes and all that kind of stuff. So then I like that's when I buy a bunch of cut level 1 gloves, some 7 1/4 saw blades for my saws, and then, you know, Sawzall blades, spade bits, all the stuff that they put out there in the little gift center. I saw that R&R Buildings had True Work pants with knee pads inside. Yeah, I think they've got some that do that, Clint. I'm gonna grab the Craftsman Slim Sawhorses at Lowe's. That's all that has really caught my eye. How much are those, Michael, at Lowe's? I haven't paid any attention. I've got a set of the Craftsman ones over here. They're just like I got the Stanley ones in my truck, and then I bought the Craftsman ones whenever they went on sale, just to have an extra set. And then sometimes I take both sets, but I keep one set in here in the garage. I don't leave it in my truck all the time. But those, you can't beat them sawhorses for the price. If you get them on sale, how small and compact they are, how light they are to carry both of them, super nice. Hole saw kits, Spider or Milwaukee. Spider has the auto ejection function. I've never even used it yet. I bought this forever ago, and I've never used it yet. I got this at clearance on Lowe's one year, and I don't think I've ever used it. If I have, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used this. I don't know if does this have the ejection thing on it, I guess. Rapid core eject. So I've never even tried it. I've got big Milwaukee sets that I've had and been using for a long time. So I can't answer, but most of the Spider stuff I've used that are drill bits are really good. So like I've got like this Milwaukee set I got on clearance one year for, I don't remember, like 20 something bucks or something. It had quite a few of the bigger ones in it. I think it was like a 22 piece, 21 piece, something like that. And I went later and bought that extension. And then I've got this set that I got for pretty much free whenever Ferguson had that pack out deal. I made a post about that a long time ago too. And these are crazy good, but they're really expensive though. And I got some pack out organizers, that big rolling pack out toolbox that like is flat and takes like 4 things. You know, I ended up, I think I bought all of it for like $200, and then I sold that thing for $200. So everything else I got for free. So I've got that. But yeah, I've got a set of them spider ones, but I've never used them. How often do you use those Vicks bits? I don't know what the Vicks bits are. Is that a misspelling of Vicks? It's supposed to be something else. What's a Vicks bit? I'll buy the spider set off you if you want. Yeah, I can't remember what I got it for, but I was in Lowe's one day and they had them for like almost nothing. I want to say like $15 or something like that. And I'm just like, well, I can't not buy that. Do I have a product number on the Milwaukee? Let's see right here. It's a 21 piece, 49-22-4171. 4922-4171. Yeah, I bought that one. It was on like a deal of the day or something one day or something. I don't remember what it was. I ordered it. I think I paid $59 for it the day that I ordered it. And then like within 2 or 3 days, it dropped again to like 29. And I went back in there and they gave me $30 more back on my card. I got it for crazy cheap too. That's the one thing about kind of staying ahead of the game. I gotta have, like, I've got a bunch of extra everything, but like that makes it to where I don't have to go to the store and like I have to go buy a hose saw because I don't have one. You know, I'm always finding one on clearance, and then that'd be my extra one. And then if I find another one on clearance, now once I get to a certain point, like right now, I got enough oscillating tool blades to last me for quite some time. Even if I find a deal, like, to me, that's not a bad deal at Acme. I don't know if that's the same price. Home Depot's got a set for $39 that is like an 8-piece set, and it actually comes with one of those nitrous blades or whatever that is. That's a pretty good deal on that one too. But I mean, I absolutely don't need any. So I get to a point where I finally don't. Vicks bits are for door hinges and hardware. So the Vicks bits for door hinges and hardware. You talking about the Apex bits? These. I've got a bunch of those because Jeff Bowery sent me a bunch of them. I think I got some in my truck, but I got these over here. You talking about these bits, Apex bits, the crescent ones with the little sleeve on them. And then they came in a set like this. You get one of them with the Phillips. And then these were Phillips T25 and a square or 2 inside of these. Jeff Bowery sent me quite a few of these that he got on clearance. My Lowe's never had them like this. They only had this. The self-feeding paddles from Diablo. Yeah, that's the ones I've got. I've got quite a few of them. I probably got a bunch of them over here in this drawer. I've got a set or 2 in my truck. And then yeah, I've even got DeWalt oscillating tool blades in here. I think all my other spade bits are up there in that tote that I've got up there. Towel bits, because I got those on clearance, but that's like, I'll keep these. I found them on clearance one day, deal of the day or something like that. Did I need them at the moment? No, but I guarantee you I'm going to go, some bathroom somewhere is going to have tile walls and they're going to want a paper towel dispenser or something hung up there. And then instead of me having to go buy them that day because I don't have one, you know, I got these on clearance and I'll have them. You end up even though you spend, it seems like you spend a lot of money, but you end up actually saving a lot of money in the long run. As long as it's something you know that for sure you're going to end up using at some point in time. I mean, without a doubt, there'll be a time where I've got to drill some holes and some tile walls in a bathroom. Home Depot still has the Milwaukee Hodozer 8-piece for $29. I don't see any cornbread. Yeah, I got something in my first thing I made in the Klein Tools. Is that upside down or right? No, that's right. Klein Tools cast iron skillet. Got myself a Christmas cake. Little Debbie. I didn't make any cornbread. Some of y'all were thinking I made cornbread. Vicks is a self-centering hinge bits. Oh, okay. Mine are, I've got some of them that are Bosch brand. That's what all mine are, the Bosch brand of those. So yeah, those are worth for sure having. I didn't use them in that last Watch Me Work video. Normally I would use them in that situation, but I didn't use them because it was a door that I could easily get in there and make sure that it was going to be good. I see you found the Menards mini buckets. Yep. Matt said I skipped a bunch, so I have to go up here and see what I missed. Be careful swinging around the Buc-ee's mug. Dicky Doo, yeah, I did find the mini buckets. They were back in the paint section. A lot of y'all told me to go to the paint section. That's where I went, and they had tons of them back there. That's the first time I've been to the paint section at Menards. I don't normally go to the paint section at Menards. Those are the brand name for the center bits. So yeah, I didn't know that was a. I've not tried a Vicks brand. Then I bought like 2 or 3 sets of the Bosch ones over time, and then I think one of the Ryobi, something that I got from Ryobi, one of those hinge jig kits or something that comes with one that's a Ryobi brand inside of it. I don't remember which one it was, which jig it was I bought that had one that came with it. But I've always, there's a Bosch that comes in a 3-pack of 3 different sizes. That's the ones I've always bought. I think you can get them at Lowe's. I think that's why I bought them. They are retracted until you push on them. Have some oak craftsmans that flip with the driver bit on the other end. I don't think I've got any extra of those in here to show y'all what it is. I think they're all out there in my truck. I might have one in here, but I don't think so. Yeah, they're all in my truck. I keep them in a. They're pretty easy to get to, though. I think they are. Although it's pretty dark out here, if I can see them, I'm pretty sure they're in this bag. If only I had a flashlight. Yeah, I keep this little bag in my drawer with just random things, but like Bosch has a 3-piece set of 3 different ones. I don't think I've got the third one in here because it's really big. These are just little bits that I use for like, and then you got your, countersink drill bit that's got the taper drill bit. Those are nice to have if you don't have one of those. Yeah, here's that third one. So Bosch has a 3-piece set. I probably got an extra set of these over there, but they come like that. I'm not sure how much they are or anything, but basically whenever you push, as you're pushing that into a hinge, or a strike plate and all that kind of stuff. It's actually, to me, it's better to even use them on strike plates, but there's 3 different sizes. So as you put that on a hinge hole, it centers your drill bit in the middle of that hole, so you know your screw's going to line up right. But I've never heard of Vicks. Been out of the loop on that. Big Deborah happens. Don't you dare cook in that pan. Why didn't you make cherry cordials in that pan? Yeah, I was all out of those. I ate all those already. My son actually brought those home. I didn't buy those. Get the Hostess Christmas trees. I didn't even know. I actually don't know that I see Hostess stuff that often around me. Maybe they got some up there at the dollar store, but if they do, it's not a very big selection. I've never seen Hostess Christmas trees. Did you order the Fluke meter? No, I don't really need it. I almost did. I've got plenty of other tools on my $87 range that I probably would rather, because I've got enough meters. I kind of wanted it though, because there's a lot of times where that's going to fit in some spots that a bigger meter might not. The Bosch brand is the one I had in my Amazon cart, not the Vicks bits. Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought some of those, but I know I bought the Bosch ones at least two times, if not three times. Like I said, I may even have a pack over there in my extra, that kind of things, if I found them on some kind of deal or not. I can't remember how much they are, but I want to say I bought them at Lowe's, but I don't know if Lowe's still carries them. It's been a long time since I bought a set. Locking up and heading home. Well, hopefully you hang on, Jeff. Once you go Diablo for hose saws, you'll spoil drilling holes in cast iron ain't easy. Yeah, most everything that I use from Diablo is actually pretty good. I was just telling somebody that the other day. I think it might have actually been a comment, or it was that, or emailing back and forth with somebody or something. I don't know. But there's very few like Diablo blades, whether it's Sawzall blades, jigsaw blades, whatever it is, they're all usually pretty good for the price and the fact that you're getting them at like Home Depot and Lowe's, and it's not some specialty brand type thing like that you have to special order or do whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's better blades out there, but they're pretty good. As far as like circular saw blades and stuff, it's pretty much all I use. Over, under, and losing connection. The Works 4-volt electric screwdriver is $30, $20 off. It's an amazing electric screwdriver. You've got hundreds of flashlights. That's going back to the comment. I know I didn't have a single, which I actually had like 10 of them sitting above my head out there. It's my truck lamp thing. A lot of it gets blocked off now, like the rear cab one, because of my pack out and all that stuff. Like I get a little bit of light, but not very much. So it's actually pretty dark in my truck, like at nighttime, if I don't have a flashlight out looking around my back seat. That fidget toy with flashlight's not my favorite. I will not hype that video. Yeah, like I said, it's a good light. And as far as the clip itself, magnetism and everything, like it's a better clip to hang on to stuff than any of the other lights. But it's like there's the whole interface of going through everything to get to it, because there's so much stuff on it. If you want to just use it for a flashlight, it's a little bit cumbersome to get through all that kind of stuff and to remember all. That's the thing about all these newer flashlights. Simplicity in my mind is the way to go. I don't want to have to remember, oh, I've got to press and hold this one and then double, which I guess that's a big thing. It's for me probably more so than you guys, because if you buy one of these, like you're probably not getting the other 4 or 5 but it starts mixing in my brain that Woburn does this and Olight does this, and this brand does this, and then you have to start remembering, which most of them are at least kind of similar. But I like the ones where you just press a button and the light comes on, and then you can adjust the up and down with a knob or do whatever. I never use much on a flashlight other than a flashlight. So all the other stuff, I like having a UV on it. I don't use it very often, but I do like having that. The green laser, not something I ever find myself using, but I also work by myself, so it's not like I'm walking around with people in a factory and saying, this up here, I want you to move this over to here, and be pointing at something. If you're somebody that does that, a green laser might come in handy. I don't ever personally use it, but so I like the ones that are kind of just a flashlight and don't get all over complicated. Didn't we? Yeah, this week I called it Flashlight Palooza. Everybody that sent a flashlight was like, we'd like for it to, if you want to if you do make a video, if you could release it during this week or whatever, that'd be, which I even didn't get some got lost in the mail. So, which is actually in my, in my mind, I'm like, it's all right by me. Cause it's like, I was getting worn out on it. I've got one more left, but it's not coming out till December that I've actually got like here. And I really like it. It's probably one of my favorite ones out of the bunch that I just tried. Started filling your US general cart yet? Not 100%. I've just got some stuff in it to get it out of my way that's in here. I haven't done it because I'm going to have to, especially once I take all this stuff down, to start cutting, because that's the next step probably for me, I guess. It's either run my electric or start working on these openings. I'm gonna have to be moving a bunch of stuff around, all that kind of stuff. So I probably won't like start settling in stuff where it's going to go until I get stuff kind of the way that it's going to be. I've gotten slammed with work in the last couple weeks. Like in the last couple days, I've got like 10 jobs in the last 2 days. I got to go tomorrow and put in, change out. I went the other day after my normal job. I had a service call. They had a light out, and I went and changed and converted it over to LED. And then the guy who owns, it's like 4 suites within one big building, like storefront type things. And the guy who actually owns the whole thing, one of his spaces is within that. And after I got done and went and told him that I had it fixed, he said, well, what about, I've got some lights in here doing this. And then he just decided he wanted to go ahead and just take out all his old lights. They're all T8 fluorescent lights. Some of them are different color bulbs in them. Some of them are ballast are going bad, and a lot of them are flickering. And he's decided to go with flat panel LEDs. So I'm going and changing 16 of those. I've got them in the back of my truck, going and doing that tomorrow. Technically no L's. I did say green laser, but I know I'm catching up to you some way. So I might not have said it by then. Little Debbie has been mentioned, 1L. Joey would not read my mentions about the hole saw kit. I saw your hole saw kit. I mentioned it already once. You said something about an 8-piece hole saw kit. DJ Chucky Madness. You may remember I dropped my Klein clock last year and the glass broke. Couldn't find replacement glass. And that allowed it to run correctly. I now run it without the glass and it works. That's what was happening with mine. The second hand was hitting my glass and it was catching. So I took it apart and bent the second hand, got it to where it wasn't rubbing the glass, but then every now and then it was still stopping. So then I cut off the second hand. Somebody in here recommended I do that. I want to say it was Steve's Woodshop and Tool Reviews. I don't know if I can't remember. But then after I did that, like it would run and then not run and run and not run. And then finally it was just eating up batteries. Like you shouldn't have to change the battery in that clock for like a long time. And it was basically only lasting like a day. So it was doing something to the battery. So I just finally just quit messing with it. One of these days, maybe I'm going to see if I can find a clock, like a dollar store clock or something like that. And maybe I can rob the clock out of it and swap it out with the one that's in that. Maybe I'll try doing that. I own the Bosch Go 3 and works. I like the works for half the price. Clip doesn't come with the light. It's another $12. So I didn't know that whenever I was filming it, because like I said, it wasn't released yet, or it wasn't on sale. I couldn't find it. So I didn't know for sure if that came with it. You would definitely want that clip with it. I would think. I mean, unless you're strictly buying that light to stick in your pocket and mostly play games and then have the occasional flashlight, then you might not want the clip. But if you're going to use it for working, you're going to want that clip. Morgan kind of looks like the beaver there. Big mug of beaver. I'm a beaver believer. Don't forget to take your flashlights out, charge the battery up all the way, point it at that like button, and smash it stud pack style. I don't remember what it was. I said to Paul or maybe I was talking to, I might have been texting Project Pine Hills because my flight was late getting to Klein. The time that I was going, my flight kept getting delayed, and I wasn't going to be able to meet up with them the night that we were supposed to be getting there and meeting up that night because I was going to be getting in later. And I was texting back and forth with Project Pine Hills, and he had told me that Paul was there with Stud Pack, and I don't remember what it was I texted him to say. Well, make sure and tell him. And I came up with some kind of thing about smashing the like button, but I don't remember what it was. I need a mini arc flex for a hat light. Yeah, the arc flex is probably my most used Olight light because of that flex head. Which the light that I have left, that it's not coming out till December. It's got that kind of head on it, but it's not really much smaller. What's up, Gen X handy guy? What's up, Tom? I'd work on that electric so that mini split can get up and running before winter. That's probably what I need to do because I don't really need, like I said, everything I'm going to be doing in here. I'm not going to like be coming home after working whole days and just be like what I was doing to get the outside done. I'm not going to be killing myself because right now I'm in the same exact shape I was before I had all the extra room, and it was working for me as it was. So I might work on the electric and stuff whenever I have time, which all I've got to do, I've got the conduit run from my house to here, and then I've got to run wire underneath my house all the way to the other side, and then I've got the conduit coming out of my house on the other side going into my panel. I've got an outside panel over there that's got a spot plenty of room in it for stuff because I used to have a hot tub and other things like that in that panel, and there's nothing in it anymore. So that's what I'm gonna basically come off that panel and come over here because it was going to be pretty astronomical. They was gonna have to set a pole and do all kinds of stuff for me to get. I thought about getting a second meter and just have them put me a meter over here on this building, and then I could put in a whole panel if I wanted to or do whatever. But I don't really need a whole panel. I'm not going to be doing that much more stuff out here than what I'm doing. And then you end up with for one, it costs you more to get it out here for sure. Because I think I've got like maybe $600 in wire and all that to do all of it. But I was gonna have to get a pole set and all that. But they also charge you like a minimum on your electric, no matter how much you use, type thing. If it's a separate meter, so I'd be getting a bill for this meter at that minimum amount plus the meter for my house and all that kind of stuff. So I decided not to go that route. It's only going to cost me probably about $800 basically to get all my electric wire and all that kind of stuff. And I've already bought it. I've got it all here. So Hobby Lobby sells those clock movements. That's what I need to do is just go buy a new clock part and poke it through that hole. I might do that next little bit. Beaver Palooza. Like the shout out on Stud Pack Baco. Yeah, a couple people commented and said they saw me on Stud Pack. So I hadn't watched that video yet. So then I went and watched it, and I'm like, well, they just said they saw me on a Stud Pack video. I don't even know if it was this one, but I was sitting there watching it anyways. And then it was pretty far into it before, he got to it. My flashlight has a timer somewhere. I have no idea how to enter that mode. Yeah, some of them are pretty, like I said, some of them are crazy complicated, like to remember everything. And then I don't mind that if it's for extra stuff that I'm never going to use. But then sometimes some of them are like to get to even the light features that you want to use. They've got it set up as not like easy to get into those. If it's that, I don't really care for them. Muha ha. Mwahaha, I guess. What was your best purchase of the year? I do a video at the end of the year that's always like my top 10. So I don't know if I want to give it out this close to time to that, to give away the. I don't even know if I was actually just talking to Miss Maintenance about this the other day. I said, I don't know that I can do a top 10 this year. Uh, which actually, now that I think of it, I'm sitting here looking at one that would for sure be on it that isn't on my list. I've actually been writing them down on my board over here to make myself a list for whenever I make the video thinking about it. I might have to do a top 5 maybe with honorable mentions because I just don't think I don't feel like I bought enough things this year. Not that I haven't bought 10 things that are good, but I always look at it from the aspect of it's 10 things that, man, I'm really glad that I bought. Like some of the things, like the M18 Surge, I just got that. It's nice. I'm glad I bought it, but it's not like I don't want to tell somebody that's like my top thing I bought this year because I don't feel like it's like in that kind of echelon type thing. I couldn't find the Art Flex on the website. Is it discontinued? I'm not real sure. I mean, I haven't been searching for it, so I don't know. I mean, you might check on Amazon and see if, because they have most of their stuff on Amazon too, if it's not on their website. I can't imagine it's on Amazon if it's not on their website because I think their Amazon's pretty much a Olight store, so it's the same stuff. But Bradley Mountain personal best purchase this year. Harbor Freight's going to have the Icon ratchets 40% off starting Monday. Lexi said my favorite purchase so far is the Jigsaw M12 Jigsaw. Yeah, it's a pretty good tool. I like it. I really love my old one converted to the coping saw. I use it all the time, like anytime I'm doing baseboard, and I love it for that. It's like awesome for that. I never had cope before until I bought that coping foot and put it on my M12 Jigsaw, the old version, not the fuel one. My fuel one's set up just to be a jigsaw, but I really love it. Being an ITC member is worth it. Yeah, I've never signed up to be one, but it's because it's like I'm hit and miss whether I might go to Harbor Freight no times a whole year, and then I might go to it 30 times in a whole year. Breaking Free just bought a Blue Eddy. Ooh, I think I finally got caught up. Engineer Ultra Thin Jaw Lobster X Series Top Stubbies, all great. The Milwaukee adjustable wrenches are quite good too. Yeah, the Milwaukee adjustable ones for the box store adjustable wrenches, they're pretty. I've got all of them. That's the ones I ran for a long time before I started watching YouTube and learning about Baco and other ones just to give them a try. The channel lock, the big AZ ones, big AZZ ones, those are pretty decent as far as the way they work. Watching all the tool channels lately is really hard on your budget. You're falling into the trap. Yeah, the Acme one's the only thing I've got in the mail. Like I haven't got something from Ohio Power Tool yet, which maybe they won't send me one. I haven't bought anything from them for a long time. I bought something from them a while back because I know that I did because I got stickers and stuff from them. I can't remember if I bought my table saw from them. I know I bought my DeWalt table saw, I think, from either Acme or Ohio Power Tool because they had like a better deal. Um, I might have bought one of my miter saws from them. I can't remember. Need to try Diablo carbide oscillating tool blades. Yeah, that's what everybody says they're the best. I'm sure they probably are as far as buying them in a store because, like I said, every Diablo blade that I've tried for the most part has been one of the better ones of whatever that is. Again, spade bits, jigsaw blades. Now, I will say I did buy some Diablo. Now that I think about it, for the M12 jigsaw for coping, I bought some of the Diablo like scroll blades that you would use for coping saw, like using it in a jigsaw. And the Bosch ones, I think it's like the AO19 or the B19 or something like that, is the number on the Bosch one. The Bosch one is actually better than the Diablo one of that, which they look identical. You'd almost think that they was made in the same spot, but for some reason the Bosch ones seem like they cut better. What's my go-to miter saw? Probably my 7 1/4 Milwaukee M18 one is the one I use the most, and then I've got the 10-inch Milwaukee. But I use my 7 1/4 unless for some reason I'm doing something where I'd have to non-stop bevel on my 7 1/4, which isn't a big deal. It just takes longer. So if I'm doing something where it's, sometimes baseboard, for example, is a good one because I like to cope on my baseboard typically. So it's easier for me to stand that up and just cut that backwards 45 and then cope that out. Again, you can't sit there and mess with beveling every single time just to get that little cut, but I'd just assume just stand it up vertical. It's a lot faster. So sometimes it's easier on a 10-inch saw because certain baseboard heights won't fit in that 7 1/4. But if I can use the 7 1/4, that's the one I prefer to use. Bosch and Diablo made in the same plant. If they're old Bosch, they may be made differently. I've had them for a while, so they're probably old Bosch. I've had a bunch. It's the same way with jigsaw blades. I bet I don't know if they're in here or not, but I think they're all over there in that drawer over there. I've got probably like 2 boxes of different Bosch ones that are multiple sizes in a box type thing. Just bought the Bauer SDS Max to bust some basement floor and run some drain lines. Haven't used it yet. Yeah, I bought that. If it's this one, let's see, I bought a Bauer. Yeah, that's the one I used on my building for all my footers, all the dirt work. I bought it specifically for all that. And then I also did use it on some concrete, but man, it worked like a champ and it's still kicking. If it was this one, I almost bought the Hercules one and went ahead and got the brushless or whatever, but I basically was just buying this to use it as a, beat it up tool, digging dirt and all that kind of stuff out there. And it worked pretty good. I didn't have any problems with it. And then I did use it to drill my holes for my conduit going in the house and stuff too, since I already had it out. I think I got mine it was on sale for like $129 or something like that. I mean, the Milwaukee, if I bought the like M18 version, it was like, I can't even remember, $800 or something like that. So will there be a live different day next week? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, because of course Thursday's Thanksgiving. So probably. We'll see. I'll make a post or do something if we do a live a different day next week. Haven't decided on the DeWalt. Really want the 10-inch. If you keep saying over and over that you really want the 10-inch, then you need to go ahead and buy the 10-inch because you're going to always, if you buy the 8-inch, you're going to say, since you've already said that in your mind, or at least that's the way I work. If I keep telling myself I really would rather have something else, I go ahead and buy whatever that something else is because I'm going to end up wanting it anyways. Couldn't dirty the Milwaukee. What a YouTuber. No, I couldn't buy. I didn't want to spend the money. I don't use the SDS Max. Very, very rare. Like every now and then, like the other day, not the other day, this year, but I don't remember when it was. I did have to drill like a 2.5-inch hole or something like that for a pass through, getting inside to outside for them to run a generator or something like that. And I used to have an old Milwaukee SDS Max, but it was took like the spindle end, doesn't take like the new end on it. And I still got some of those bits actually. Matter of fact, if I go, yeah, like takes like this kind of end on it. Spline drive, I think is what they call it. And so I still got a bunch of bits that fit that drill, but that drill kicked the bucket. So that's why I couldn't use it. But that's for drilling that hole. I used the Milwaukee then. It still was working then. It kicked the bucket on that actual job. It's a super old one, and I was using that. But that's probably the first time I've used the SDS Max drill, and I don't know how long. Do you do often? Do. 149 plus 15% off on your Bauer. Yeah, it was on sale. This so happened to be on sale the day that I was going to go get one, because I actually got my Milwaukee one out to try it because it was still working, but it just wasn't working right. I think it needs new brushes and all that kind of stuff. And it's super old. And so I just went out there to try to use it on the dirt to see if that was going to work, what my plan was before I was going to go buy another one. And then it wasn't really doing it because it wasn't full bore power. So then I was like, well, I really don't want to go spend the money on some $800 Milwaukee one. Now, if it was something I was going to use very often, I'd have went and bought the Milwaukee one. But I told Miss Maintenance, I was like, I think I'm going to see how much Harbor Freights are. And then that way I can buy it and use it for this. And I won't feel bad about putting a $900 one down in here and digging nasty dirt and throwing it in the dirt and all that kind of stuff. M12 SDS with chipping has done all I asked for. 9 times out of 10, that's all I need is the little M12 rotary hammer. I do got a Bosch 18-volt one still. I've had one of those, one of the Bulldogs or whatever. I've got one of those if I need it, but the M12 does everything that I've ever used that for. Been collecting tools since I was a kid. Some I don't use. I always say it's better to have them than not need them, and need them and not have them. Yeah. That's why that's why I said about bits and all that kind of stuff. If I see them for crazy cheap and I know it's something I'm going to end up using, I go ahead and buy it. I try to keep my mind of, now Miss Maintenance says I don't do this, but I do, because there's certain blades that I'm not buying right now, and they're on sale. Now, gloves, like cut level 1 gloves, like every time I bring home a pack of them, she's like, I can't believe you bought more gloves. You got tons of them out there or whatever. But it's like, I don't buy them for a long period of time. Like I buy them in bulk whenever they're on sale, and then I won't buy them again for like 6, 8 months, sometimes even a year. Do you use a one-handed recip saw to carve the turkey? LOL. It probably would work pretty good if you had the right blade on it. Sonya didn't want me to get more solar panels, but I was able to use the recent solar storm and almost kill shot to convince her. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Menards rebate money that which I guess you got a while to use it, I guess, but I'm probably going to buy some. I probably got enough wire here to do like what I'm going to wire in the walls and the new stuff and the ceiling for lights and stuff, but I'll probably end up buying like my electrical stuff I've got the stuff to run the main power out here, but I'll probably buy the other stuff with like lights and stuff like that with that. Someone used to have a corded Bosch Bulldog Extreme, and it was great. Yeah, the Bosch rotary hammers for a long time were one of the better rotary hammers as far as the ones I used. I used to have an old Hilti, and the Bosch was better than it, but the Hilti was super old. Like it was a really old one. Don Mendenhall goes round and round with a certain guy at work about using a hammer drill for concrete versus using a normal drill with a good concrete drill bit. I only use a normal drill, and he argues every time. Now, concrete block, like sometimes is all right, but even just a hammer drill is quite a bit different than using a regular drill with a concrete bit for me. Now, I haven't used a regular drill in a long time with these newer bits. Maybe it's a lot better, but even just using a hammer drill setting on a drill versus just using a drill is quite a bit different. But then to me, a rotary hammer versus a hammer drill is like two different things. But it really depends on what you're going for, I guess. Depends on how big a hose you're drilling and all that kind of stuff too. You can get an electric knife to recip adapter. 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day. I did see that. I saw where Menards rebate thing. I think they stop at about that time every year, and then till the end of the year or whatever. I use both the corded Hilti hammer drill and the Makita heavy duty drill with Bosch concrete bits. I've drilled many holes in cinder block. Yeah, like concrete block is way easier to drill than like concrete. And then again, it depends on what kind of concrete you're drilling in. Like if you're drilling through like some thinner concrete or whatever, and you're just drilling a small hole, but if you're going to drill you like a inch hole through 8 inches of concrete, you're going to be there for a while, I think, with a regular drill. But the new drill bits have gotten quite a like the Milwaukee multi-bit ones, like the red ones and the white ones or whatever. Those are all pretty good. I've always had a hammer drill or a rotary hammer now. I've never tried any of the newer drills I have, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever put a concrete bit in them and just used them as drill mode. Because it's in my brain that swap it to hammer mode or use a rotary hammer. I can't remember the last time I've even attempted it, so I might need to try one because the drills have gotten a lot better too. Like a drill is way better today than what it was, 10 years ago. Wings and Pizza said once he used a rotary hammer, he couldn't go back. Safety Assassin bought the new Klein Slim Forge wire strippers. I haven't went to Lowe's. I might be. Well, I don't know. I'll be lucky if I get all 16 of them changed out. It's gonna be a pretty big day. If it was just putting in 16 lights, that'd be one thing. But taking out 16 and putting in 16, and I don't even know how they're wired yet. Like whether or not I'm gonna have enough wire going from one to the next one. Sometimes when you get into fluorescent fixtures, they've got the MC cable coming in one side of one and going out the other side. And then you buy those LED flat panels and everything's got to go over here on this side. And then if they didn't give you any kind of slack, then you got to run more cable. So, but the Lowe's is pretty close to where I'm working tomorrow. I was going to stop. I haven't went in there any this week. I was wanting to stop in there and see if mine put them out yet. Anything bigger than 1.1 inch, we rent a bigger drill in a bit. I've only done that a few times in 20 years. Yeah, that's why for me, like that Bauer for 129, because I drilled my holes in my block over here for my conduit too to go. And I think I bought 2 little cheap Amazon bits. I don't know if I still got those in here. I think they're actually in my tap gun box over there because they're SDS Plus. And I bought I had a SDS Plus to SDS Max adapter. But man, it went right through my brick. My house had brick and then concrete block behind that. And it went right through all of them. No time. And then now I've got that here for if I want to use it for something weird. Haven't heard the word Menards in years. I used to live in Iowa. I live in New York City now. No Menards here. We just got one in my town. Now, we've had them around me for a long time. Like I could drive for maybe like an hour in a couple different directions and go to a Menards for quite some time. But we got one in the town I work in now in the last maybe year and a half, 2 years. We just lag in 1/2 inch tap cons at 2 to 4 at a time. Yeah, I might need to just for giggles, because I can't remember the last time I just used a drill in regular drill mode with the concrete bit in it and see. Because like I said, the newer drills are way better than what they used to be. Sucks having to find an outlet. Yeah, there's certain tools that Like, it's not worth it to me to buy the battery powered ones for the little, it goes into that same thing of the little amount that I'm going to use them. And for the type of job I use them for, it's usually almost going to always be in a place that has power. So if that's the case, I usually buy a powered one, and unless it is in my tool brand and it's cost effective. But if I had to go buy a generic one and a total different battery platform and have to keep batteries for something that I'm very rarely going to use, I'd just as soon have a corded one. And then that way I know that if I have it for 15 years and use it 10 times, 15 years from now, those batteries are probably not going to be good. And then am I going to be able to get more of them? All that kind of stuff. DJ Chucky Madness found a DeWalt 12 volt for less than 70 bucks. Yeah, the 12 volt one's like my Milwaukee 12 volt one's the new one. I've got it hanging over here. I've been using it quite a bit. That's pretty much what I've swapped over to. In fact, I think I'm going to give my old one to my buddy. I've been supposed to take it to him to let him look at it, but the this one is really good. I've used the chisel feature. I haven't really used it so much for chiseling concrete. I have scraped floors with it, and then anytime I've been pouring concrete, I put like a pointed chisel in it and just go around all my boards on the outside and basically use it like a vibrator. Go ahead and start talking about the fact that I said vibrator, but it works really good for that. Living in New York City doesn't seem desirable to me. We've been there. I've been there one time. That's not the. I wouldn't want to live in any city like that. Not necessarily because it's New York City. Cool place to visit, but I'm not around that many people-y person. What's up, Woodchuck? Tom bought the strippers too. What's the difference between MC cable and greenfield cable? Job we were on, those terms are tossed around all day. I'm very green when it comes to electrical. Don Mendenhall. I think is the greenfield, and I think this is what it is. And I very rarely worked in a situation. I only know that because I've done some jobs where I demoed it out. I've never really, is that the hospital, the greenfield cable that's got the extra ground in it, like an aluminum wire almost that goes along with it or something like that? I don't know a whole lot about that either. I mostly work, I never worked in like medical stuff, which oddly enough, that's where I work at a lot now is doctor's offices, but it's mostly like smaller doctor's offices and stuff. I don't like working a hospital. But I know that's typically where they always put those because I think anything that runs off of a generators and things like that has to be on those. But I could be totally wrong on that. I don't know if that's what that is. Somebody else in here might know though. I demoed well, it's not just for hospitals because like where I demoed it out, I had a bunch of it because I kept taking all the runs and rolled it up. I think I ended up selling it on Facebook because the Bed Bath and Beyond where I got these shelves, I demoed out a bunch of electrical that was going to lights in those shelves and stuff like that too. But it was really big, long runs of that cable. So I kept rolling it up and was just bringing it home with me. But I don't know if that's what it is. But it was everything that was tied into where they used it was everything that was tied into their generator system was where they had it at, like going to their cash registers and going to certain lights and things like that. Is the shovel bit for the SDS Max worth it? 49. I don't have it, so I don't know. I was just using a large chisel bit and breaking it free and then taking my shovel and putting it in my bucket. Tools and Stuff says Makita's going to release a new strong heavy duty cordless hammer drill and a new oil impact driver. Jamie True got the Bosch Lowe's 159. Catching a whiff of, let's see. You can buy strippers. Yep, about 30, 40 bucks. The closest house to me is about a mile away. I couldn't live in any populated area. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not even a big fan of going and like visiting places that are that crowded. Or like I'm a person now, like you couldn't pay me to go to like concerts, and I don't even really like going to football games and stuff. I almost just too much on TV. It's just like people have changed so much to like whenever you get them in big groups, it's just a nightmare. Is Greenfield what they call a redundant ground? I'm pretty sure that's what that cable is, Don. I'm waiting to see if anybody answers because I'm pretty sure it's. I've never heard what the name of it is. I've actually not even seen it very many times. Other than that, I think Jamie True's in here. He might know. What's up, Az Neric or Asneric? Never know how. I never know where the split is in some of the names. Jacob Fraud. So see, it's either Jacob Fraudsham or Jacob Fraudsham. Just spent the last few hours cleaning my tools, dish soap, and a scrub daddy, then dried them, displaced the water with isopropyl alcohol, then oiled with mineral oil. Looks brand new. MCT blackout. It's always fun times cleaning the tools. I don't know exactly, but I've ran into it without a ground even, and the casing was the ground too. Yeah, I was thinking I might have still had a little piece down there, but I know I don't because a guy came and bought all of it from me because I had so much of it in here. I'm like, I can't keep all this. And then I ended up just going ahead and giving. He was wiring his garage or something. I don't remember what he was doing. I was going to keep some of it, and then whenever he got here, he was needing some more. So I was like, I'll just go ahead and sell you all this because I said I'd just soon not have it sit around here for a while, anyways. And it's got like a. I've seen Tools and Tactics have some on his channel before. I like I said, I've never ran it as far as like installing it or anything like that. I've only seen it taking it out of places. And that's me assuming that that's what that wire is. It's got like it's MC cable with a green stripe on the outside of it. So whenever you said green field, that's what made me think that maybe that's what it is. But it's got an extra ground wire like inside of it. Cities are awesome. It has its moments. Maybe in your younger days, Keys. I still call you Quaz, but Keys. Sounds good to me. I'm only doing new homes. Yeah, so you're doing residential mostly. So you're never seeing it either. It's only in again. I don't know if that's a greenfield or not. I'm just you said greenfield. I remember the green line on the outside of the MC cable, so that's my guess on it. But there's miss maintenance. Don't over clean your tools. People will think you don't work. Anyone believe in UFOs? You never know. I don't know if there is or not. I've never seen one. Did someone mention using super slick stuff on their strippers? It's actually super slick stuff. I think I missed one of the S's back whenever I used to talk about it all the time. It's super slick stuff. With the Greenfield, you install the conductors, and the casing can serve as a grounding conductor, but only for lengths up to 6 feet and for 20 amp or less. That's definitely not what I was working with then because they was definitely for lengths of more than 6 feet. Because all of them I was pulling out was like 50-foot, 60-foot runs. Matt said that's what he was thinking of for Greenfield. Put my Christmas tree up here before I forget it. Now, you know there are UFOs in the back of your mom's freezer. I remember thinking, who was here? There's no ground in here. Yeah, I don't guess I've ever run into Well, I mean, I've run into MC cable, like, where people run the cable and then fish wire through it, and then it didn't have a ground in it, but it's one of those where it wasn't greenfield cable, it was just somebody didn't run a ground in it. So it sounds like it's just a litter jack, and then you pull the wires you need. Okay. Yeah, so that's the stuff they sell, like armored cable basically. Now it may be a different type of armored cable because they got it at Lowe's and Home Depot where you can buy it without wires in it and then run your own wires in it. But I don't know if those are, I've always ran, if I so happen to run one of those, I've always put a ground cable in them. We'll see you, Gen X handy guy. I bet aliens have some crazy tools. They're saying UFOs are real and there's a new documentary coming out about it. Well, if there's a documentary about it, it's got to be true. It's got to be a real thing. It's always funny whenever you watch, like you'll watch a documentary about something, you're like say it was about this person who murdered somebody, but they didn't get convicted or whatever. And by the end of it, you're like, man, they need to go to jail. This should be done to them or whatever. Just, and then you'll watch some other documentary and you'll be like, well, I don't know, maybe they are, that's slanted the other direction. Cause it's basically, that's somebody telling the story, how they want you to be, how they want you to see it. Greenfield may be a brand name. A lot of retail stores use redundant ground MC so they can have isolated grounds for point of sales. See, that's where all the cable that I was talking about. So Jeff, you'll know more than me. I don't like, and it was running to cash registers and all those kinds of things. I took it out of the Bed Bath and Beyond, or yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond was what it was. It was MC cable, had a green stripe on the MC cable on the outside of the cable on the like on the actual cable part, and then on the inside it had like a extra wire, but it was almost like an aluminum wire. It wasn't like a copper or anything inside of it as well. So I don't know what's that cable called. I think somebody. I think I watched some tactics videos, and he said they use it in hospitals a lot. That's the only time I've ever ran into it was me demoing that. But I don't work in hospitals or things like that either. So hospital MC has a redundant ground too. This documentary has Marco Rubio talking about how they have actual proof of aliens and UFOs. So who knows what else is out there? I'm still confused after making a murderer after all these years. Yeah, and then you had like the what was it, the Menendez brothers or something. I never watched whatever that documentary was, but I think they ended up getting like released or something. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I don't know that for sure, but I know that came out. And then you watch the Tiger King documentary. I know everybody watched that one because we were all stuck in our houses. And then you're like, well, who did Carol Baskins do it, or was it whatever happened? Did he leave? Everybody gets their tinfoil conspiracy hats on. The Menendez brothers were just released here recently. Yeah, I was thinking like they had that documentary. It wasn't too long after that they got released. Clint didn't watch Tiger King. Oh man, you're missing out, Clint. That's some good stuff. We watch a lot of the. I don't. I mean, in a way, they're documentaries. I guess is like those Datelines and all that. With that's what Miss Maintenance likes to watch is the women who kill their husbands, all those kinds of things. I want to see the House of David. Yeah, the second season's like on some stuff. Like the first season was free, like on Prime or whatever it came on, and now the second season's on something we don't get. So Tiger King was a heck of a way to stop the pandemic. There's a documentary coming out in a few weeks of the 12,000 year Earth disaster cycle. Make sure you see it. As long as it's not Ed Gaines. Yeah, the Ed Gaines thing's pretty bad. Normally it's husband killing wives to be fair. I can see why that is. Yeah, I didn't have any of the Weehaw bits, and my caliper, the little coin battery, was dead to see what that is. I don't think I've got any kind of. I do got some scales out here. Let's see where those are. If I can kind of get a rough idea, because somebody told me the Weehaw was 6mm. I don't know if I'll be able to judge it by this or not. My eyeballs aren't quite what they used to be. Hmm. Might be. There's a 0 on that. Tens. That ain't the one I need. I don't think I got it on here. $10, $20, $30, $40. Yeah, I won't be able to check it on that. I don't have anything that's got just millimeters out here that I can think of. My other stuff's down there in my other toolbox. I haven't moved it up here to this one. Well, let's see what's on this, though. This is metric, I think. One, two, three. That's inch. Oh, never mind. No, this is inch. I remember now that I say that this was metric, that guy, he sent me the SAE one because he knew that I was here. So I don't have anything to check that yet. I'll do the handle. But it's probably, if it's a hair less than a 1/4 inch, 6mm, I think it is. It's probably, I'd be curious to see if the Weehaw stuff doesn't fit in there. But Three Phase told me that Weehaw also has like 3 lines on theirs. So it would depend, maybe like this line's exactly in the middle. But I don't really know, in all honesty, what that line necessarily does, unless that's kind of where those ball bearings hit at, I guess. Probably. So you'd probably have to have, although I would think it's a kind of a pressure fit with those ball bearings anyways. I don't see like a C-ring or anything down in there. But Three Phase told me that the Weehaw have 3 lines on it, so that might come into play even if it is the same size. I don't know. But it locks pretty good. Use your opened end wrench. Yeah. I don't know if I got a 6. Let's see what I got. Starts at 8. I might have a socket though. So my wrench starts at 8. Let's see if I got a 6 socket. All my sockets are in here just loose. Where I threw them in here. Off my rail, and I don't even know. Let's see. What's this? Let's see. I think all my metric sockets are going to end up being down there too. I should have. Oh, here we go. What we got here? I don't think there's going to be a 6 in here, though. Quarter. Six. Makita is a 6. Somebody's a genius. Who said that? Musier. Whoever that was. It's already scrolled past you. Got to give somebody a props. I can't find it wherever you. Oh, there was Tom. Yeah. 6 is pretty snug in there. Like I can barely turn it. So if it's not 6, it's probably, let me see if I can find, that 6 is the smallest one there. All my metric sockets are down there. I don't think I've got any, I don't know what the smallest in that one set is. Like if I had a 5.5 or something, I'd try. I know I've got a 5.5, but I don't think I got a 5.5 here. Because it's either, it could possibly be a, looking at the little room I've got in there, my guess is it's either a 5.5. I don't think it would be a 5. Yeah, I'm not going to have a 5.5 up here. I know exactly where it is, but it's in my, that's a long walk to go get that. Because all my 1/4 inch ones that I was using that are on my Astro socket, those are all SAE. Let's see what the smallest SAE one that fits it is. That one's a 1/4. Looks like a 1/4 is the smallest one I got. Here's 7/32. So it doesn't fit in 7/32. Whatever the equivalent of that is in metric, if anybody knows that off the top of your head. That's the smallest I've got up here, though. And then it goes to a 1/4. And a 1/4 is too big. So it's somewhere between 7/32 and a 1/4. Man, I wish I had a 5.5, because that's going to be my guess is 5.5. Because the 6 is the 6 fits pretty good, but I think you could go 5.5. Don't I? Wait a minute. What's this? Here we go. Bessel 5.5. No, doesn't fit in the 5.5. There's a Vessel 5.5. Won't go. So it's a 6. So if the Weehaw is a 6, the Weehaw blades might fit. If it fits, you must have quit. There's your documentary. The lady from Tiger King was crazier than Tiger King himself. Jeff Bowery was on an episode of Snapped. Always adjustable caliper wrench. Yeah, I need to get me a set of calipers that's just, because I don't use mine very often anymore. I used to use them quite a bit when I worked in factories and stuff, and I've got a digital one that takes the little coin battery and it's dead, and I don't even want to mess with I don't like messing with anything that's got the coin batteries, because I never have them. It's a pain to remember to go get one at the store. So if any of you know of a good, or if you know of a good digital caliper that takes a different kind of battery that's more accessible, drop that down in here too. Send me some free calipers. Yeah. Yeah, hit up some caliper company, go comment under their video and say, I'd like to buy one of these if only I saw a video from Morgan's Maintenance. The Weehaw 6mm. Yeah, I knew that they make them different so that you don't stick other bits in them. But I was curious if the Weehaw ones are interchangeable, or also can you stick the Klein ones in the Weehaw. Again, my only Weehaw insulated screwdriver I have isn't a slim bit, like it just takes bits. Tyrone watches 10 to Life. I tell you what, I've gotten on a kick of watching here lately is his name the constitutional lawyer or something like that. It's always like police people that do crazy stuff, like that they shouldn't be like really above their authority, and then the body cam footage, they end up getting fired or they do whatever. I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's got a beard and glasses. He's sitting there telling the. I've got on a kick of watching his stuff. The Menendez brothers are still locked up for a long time, although I think they were resentenced recently. Next reality show is going to be Hoarders. .35 is a 1/4 inch. Well, like I said, these fit in the 6, and it doesn't fit in the 5.5. So unless there's a 5.75 out there. Is it hoarding if tools are involved? No, it's just being business savvy whenever I buy tools. Miss Maintenance doesn't get that. Business savvy. That's the term I'm going to use. I've got loose sockets. Yeah, my whole drawer, it's from I've got all my Astro rails and stuff sitting in here, and I've got the 1/4 inch sockets. I took them off because I was going to put them back on my other rails, and I've just got them in here loose. 7/30 seconds is 5.5. Cut the door on the live. I might do that. Like I've also got some furniture over here that I don't know what it is. Friend of mine that lives up the road, they've been having their house remodeled, and he bought some shelves or something and something else over here that he asked me if I could put together for him. And then I was like, well, I can come over maybe one day next week and do it. But he wasn't ready for them to be put in his house yet. So I said, well, you can come if you got them, if you want to drop them. He had them in his truck. And I said, if you just want to drop them off my garage, I'll just put them together sometime. As long as they're not something crazy where we'll be able to move them, that's fine by me. So I got that to do too at some point in time. We might do a live putting furniture together video. I'd have to have Miss Maintenance out here though. She'd have to do the moderating. I can't doing stuff like that live and then me not checking the chat unless it's just known up front. You guys can chat amongst yourself. Probably not going to see very much of this type thing. I bought another Klein 11-1 impact driver with flip socket set today. Needed it for my other Vito bag. Do you still like the M18 chainsaw? Yeah, it's the only bigger chainsaw I own now. I sold my gas ones and stuff, but I also don't cut like down huge trees for a living or anything like that. Like I mostly just use it around my property, cutting up limbs that fall off or, all that kind of stuff. My grandpa was an inspector at Boeing. He had calipers galore. Harbor Freight has a none of electronic calipers, or are you saying a bunch? Is there none or I took pictures of measurements with Weehaw bits and with my expensive caliper 5.98, which is kind of like I said, this is a hair, in my opinion, this is a hair smaller than 6 because like I can put it in the 6 and I can see a little bit of room. So I bet they're probably going to be compatible, other than unless like this doesn't work out lengthwise, like where a groove or something is. Again, I don't really see what the whole purpose, because I don't even think that groove lines up where those ball bearings are, and I don't know why the groove would even matter with that. But like the ball bearings are just going to keep it in there. It could be though. I don't know. I don't know if it probably is about where the spot where them ball bearings are. So unless there's something to do with those lines, because Three Phase said his Weehaw had 3 lines. Needed a caliper with USB-C rechargeable battery if that's a thing. Do other Klein blades fit it? No, these are all big where they go in because they're fitting inside that hole right there. Even if you get the ones that are one-sided, it's still got this. This is way bigger than even a 1/4 inch. And that's the only other Klein I've got that's insulated. I don't know if Klein's got some other one out there that's got some kind of different bits than that. That's the only one I know of. What's up, Perez? I have a general caliper, probably not the best one, but it's pretty handy. Yeah, I can't remember the one. I've got a micrometer and a caliper down there. It's in my other toolbox. It's I'd probably actually leave them down there because that's usually where I end up using that kind of stuff. A lot of entitled people out there watching those body cam videos blows my mind. Yeah, this guy, in most of the cases of his, it is pretty crappy police work. It's usually like somebody who's abusing their authority. I see all kinds of them that's the other way around, but this guy is basically, I want to say his name is like the constitutional lawyer or something like that. Like I said, he's always sitting at his desk. He's got a beard and glasses, and he's basically just telling the story. They now make an alphabet soup brand USB rechargeable caliper. No live cutting the doors. I got to move a lot of stuff out of the way to cut those doors, so I'd have to be prepared for that. I got to move that whole shelf system and all the stuff that's on it. This one's probably not going to be as much work, but that one over there, I got to get a lot of stuff moved. What does the message inside the Bucky's cup say? It says, "I'm a beaver believer." Perez got the Fluke 374 clamp meter today. They have an insulated precision from Klein blades. They're 5.4-ish millimeters. Yeah, I've got that one. It's down there in my other toolbox too. But yeah, they're definitely, I think they're bigger than these though, like, or smaller than these. Looking at getting a Klein Stubby, which one do you recommend? Do you have any of the other Connect stuff? If you got the Connect stuff, like any of the mod box stuff or anything like that, that's the only real reason to me to get that, like the Impact 7-in-1 or whatever, is because you can stick all that stuff in there and kind of have yourself stubby nut drivers using all your pass-through bits. That's what makes that one handy, in my opinion. I kind of like the smallest one is like almost like I can't remember what the part number is, and it's out there. I don't think I've got it in here. Let me see. I might have one in here, but I don't think I do. I think it's actually in my other bag out there. It's the one that's kind of like your old 11-in-1 style. And it's super small. Might be this one. Let's see what this one is. That's the 8-in-1. Which that's the one benefit to these. I know I've got another one because I've got it in a thing like this, and it might be down in here if I really dug. But they've got one, I want to say it's like a, can't remember what the part number is on it, but the 8-in-1 is pretty handy. I think they also might have a 12-in-1 because this one's got bit storage. So if you want to put this in your toolbox or whatever, but now these bits are really small, so you can't just swap these out with any bit. You have to pretty much always keep up with these. And then you can put them in here, and you have a 1/4 inch and 5/16 nut driver. But the nice thing about this one is you can take like a bit holder or anything else you want to put in there. So if you got a magnetic bit holder, you know, any other bit you want to stick in it, step bit even if you want to, or, you know, a conduit reamer, anything 1/4 inch drive, you can put in that one. The one I'm talking about is like just your old style 11-in-1. And I know that I've got one in here. It's probably in that drawer. If I looked around long enough, I'd find one because I've got a couple of them. So this one's pretty good for a tool bag, in my opinion, because you're getting 1/4 inch and 5/16 magnetic nut driver. You can put these bits up here in this 1/4 inch. And then you can also take this out and put whatever you want to in it. Versus the one I'm talking about has like your standard 11-in-1 with the double-ended bits and all that kind of stuff. You're stuck with using exactly what comes in it, but it is the most compact of the bunch. But if, like I said, if you've got the connect sets, then the impact stubby is worth having, and that's out there. I know that one's in my truck because I keep it in the set with my T-handle out there. And I know I got that other stubby in here somewhere. Another one. I gotta go through these at some point in time. That's if you're wanting a Klein one. Vessel bit holder makes a great stubby. I lost a 1/2 inch pass-through socket. I wonder if they sell just a single one. I haven't seen them selling the single like sockets yet. They sell those adapters kind of singly, but not even really single, but in a pack of 4 or whatever. I have the 11-in-1 impact and the 15-in-1 ratcheting, and what would be the best companion that's mini. So like your 11-in-1 impact, and you see your 15-in-1 ratcheting takes like double-ended bits or something, doesn't it, if I remember right? You got this 15-in-1 ratchet, or you got the 15-in-1 that's like this, or this is a 13-in-1, but I think they got a 15-in-1 it's like this, because this is going to have, you know, these bits which you can't use in really any of the other stubbies. And this one's going to have these, but now you can put these in. What do I do with the one I just had? So if you've got this one, you'd have the bits that you have in here if you want to use them to make it really short if you want to, and using this or whatever. But maybe like this is going to be pretty fat for you to get it into something sometimes. But you could take that out and you should be able to put, yeah, you can't really use them with this though, because there's the way that it is. It's got to have that little line that's on the shaft. So what I thought was going to be a good idea ended up not being. You have to have a shaft that's got like the line indentions there. Or actually, let's see if I stop it up in here. Yeah, there's way too much slop. So that makes it be a stop, but there's way too much slop. So even like with these right here, you're going to have a bunch of slop. So you're still kind of stuck with using this on that. So that doesn't do you any good. And the 7-in-1, I don't have it with me out, so I can't remember how that one works 100%. I keep the 7-in-1 impact ratcheting in my box with my T-handle ratchet because I use it with the connect stuff pretty much is the only way I use it, because I'm not a big ratcheting screwdriver person, but based on you saying that if you like a ratcheting screwdriver, that's also another option, is that 7-in-1 ratcheting. I think it's the only ratcheting Klein Stubby option. I have my workbench all cleaned off, and look what y'all made me do. Y'all watch Tulsa King? That's the one with Sylvester Stallone, I think. I don't think we've ever watched it. Getting excited watching you test for slop. I'm gonna get this toad out and see if I can find. I know I got that other ratcheting screwdriver in here somewhere. I'm gonna scratch my pan. Or not the other ratcheting screwdriver. I got another Stubby in here. I'm almost positive. But it actually could be in my MCTP, and I just don't remember. Or maybe I gave it to somebody. I got like 1,000 Klein handles in here of different 20-in-1. No, it ain't in here. Must be in my MCTP. I thought I had one of the 8-in-1s in my MCTP, but maybe I changed it over to be that other one. I think there's also maybe I think there's a 12-in-1 too now that comes with a little bit longer flip socket shaft and has 2 flip socket sizes on it or something like that. These are my random tools that I swap out sometimes for different stuff. Hop over the weeds and get buried again. I could have swore that I don't have that. I don't remember what I'm trying to think of what the number is on that little. It's a littlest Klein Stubby, but the inside of it is like a regular 11-in-1. Like you flip it over and it's got the 1/4 inch and 5/16 as part of the things that holds the bit. But I don't remember. Even Joey has those bits he never uses. My favorite screwdriver is the 13-in-1. Lost to Phillips if they don't make replacements that I can find. So you've got the 13-in-1, like the one I just had out a minute ago, the ratcheting one with the orange bits. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen double-ended bits like those. like separately in any of the Klein packs or anything like that. Annex makes a ratcheting stubby with a double-ended bit. The stubby you're thinking of is a 6-in-1 that's like the 11-in-1. Yeah, that's the most compact. Like, so if you want like a super compact stubby and that's what you really want it for, that one's like the smallest of the Klein ones. It must be in my MCTP because I know I don't keep it in my SPMC because you just lose it in there. So I don't even have a stubby in my SPMC. I kind of use the little Vera ratcheting, the 838 RA or whatever that number is, the smaller version. That's kind of what I use for my stubby for the most part out of my SPMC bag. Klein 32561. And then Lexi said the 32562. So there might be some, those might be pretty similar since the numbers are close, and maybe one of them has a little bit different bit selection in it or something like that. Looking at the kit with the stubby that comes with the mini ratchet. Oh yeah, that's this one right. That's that. It's basically that same thing that I just showed you with the 8-in-1. I think, but maybe that one might be a 12-in-1 with there. It comes with a double flip socket or something like that. I know which one you're talking about, like the mini ratchet's black and that set right there. I think that you're talking about. That's a pretty good stubby. I think it's one of my top 5 screwdrivers. In fact, on like my top 5 Kleins, like out of the stubbies, that's the most useful one, but it's not the smallest one. So like if you can get by and you actually want a very small screwdriver, but if you buy that little mini ratchet, most of the time in the situations where I would use a stubby driver, I end up using that mini ratchet probably more than I even use a stubby driver. That Klein mini ratchet's really good. If you don't have one of those yet, and that's a good deal on that kit, that's probably what I would buy. Weehaw has a very compact non-ratcheting stubby with 6 double-ended bits in the handle. Anyone know if the Milwaukee self-adjusting wire stripper can strip 18.5 fire alarm wire jacket? 18.5. I don't have any 18.5, so I don't know. You're talking about the squeeze self-adjusting. It does most of any of the smaller cable, like round cables and stuff like that. It does a pretty good job on, but I don't have any of that particular wire to try it on, so I don't know for sure. PB Swiss non-ratcheting stubby's awesome. Drinking game every time he says stubby. The 61 to 62 are the same except different bits. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But then part numbers being that close, that's what I thought it might be, is some different bits in it. Do I know who makes a fantastic ratcheting screwdriver? My favorite ratcheting screwdriver is the Vessel USB screwdriver. Like it self ratchets. It's pretty amazing. You push a button and it like ratchets. Like you pull it back, it ratchets in reverse. It's one of the best ratcheting screwdrivers I've ever used. How'd I get into maintenance? Been thinking about plumbing and heating. How would you go about that? And did you go to school for your trade? So mine is just moving into different jobs, learning different skills in different jobs, and then going in someplace hiring me and me doing maintenance for almost 20 years at a certain spot. And then now I just open my own business and just do it myself. But I didn't go to any kind of school or anything, just learning on the job. 62 has the square bit. You put the MB200 to work yet? No, not yet. I've been busy. Like like this time of year, I really try not to work that much. I was just telling Miss Maintenance this morning. I was like, all of a sudden, everybody decided they wanted work done. And that's the way it always goes. It seems like it's like you finally get caught up and you think, oh, I get to breathe a little bit and like work at a regular pace and maybe take a day and do some things I was wanting to do that I haven't got a chance to do yet. And then 10 people call and be like, I asked you about this. I'm ready to do that if you want to do that. We have 50-piece Max Tor bit set on sale, $23.78. Yeah, that 32651 is very small. He said two Phillips, two slotted, and two nut drivers. And then the 52 has square bits in it. But like I said, it's by far the most compact of the Klein stubbies. There might be some other brand that's got one a little smaller, but it's by far the smallest of the Klein. And that still has like bit selection a little bit in it, and not just a dedicated, like you carrying around a dedicated Phillips stubby, a dedicated slotted stubby, all that kind of stuff. It's one of those. Everyone wants to spruce up the house for hosting duty, so they call Morgan. Yeah, I had a lady call today that wants some under cabinet lights. I think she's already got some. She's wanting some new ones, and then she's got some other lights. But I probably won't be able to get to her till after Thanksgiving, I don't think, because it all depends on what the weather is next week. The job that I got to do next week, I kind of need good weather, so it just depends. I think it was a good call not getting the Fluke. Yeah, I had looked at those pocket ones back whenever I was looking for a meter for that SE45, and then I ended up getting that Aining pin or whatever. I've got that in there right now. And then I actually found my Kaiweets one after I knew I had a Kaiweets one and I couldn't find it. I couldn't remember what I did with it, and then I thought I gave it away on a live or did something like that, and then I found it in my TP4B in my house bag. That's where I had it. Whenever I went in there to look for I was looking for a tool that I was wanting for a specific reason, and I was thinking, I think I got that in my house bag. So I went in the house, and then that's when I saw the Kaiweets. I could use some of his business slow here. All right. Make sure I don't get a joker. Everybody change your chat to all messages. There's the two jokers. I need to set these out to the side. I blame people being poor. I was talking to another contractor today, and he was saying his company policy doesn't allow them to be alone in customers' houses. Someone over the age of 18 needs to be on site with them. Yeah, I would either. There's good reason for that, especially I used to always do it because where I worked at before was a lot of like women in apartments and things like that. And I purposely would only really go a lot of times if they weren't home or uh, someone else was with me or whatever, just because you never know what someone's going to say type thing. But I think that it's actually almost a good idea to have like body cams in the sense of, sometimes we wear it to document our work to make videos for YouTube, but it's actually a good thing just to cover your butt sometimes to say that, yeah, this is what I did and whatever else. When you do maintenance on a on-demand tankless, are you just using vinegar? And what else do you perform? Thanks. Now they have like certain kits for certain brands that you can use. Like we always had Renai's at the place where I worked. That's the brand we basically put in everywhere. So they have like an actual like flush kit. It all depends on, you need to check with the manufacturer of your water heater. Not that it matters. Like if it's under warranty or something or other, it just depends on what the brand, what company it is. They'll either fight you and say you didn't do something right anyways, or, or if they're a company that just stands by their product, no matter what, it doesn't matter if you use vinegar, if you use their product type thing. So we'll pick. Let me find what I think would be a. Vinegar. I'm gonna act like I didn't see that. There's plumbing. Keys, I tell you. Clint's getting in early. I see that. I see what you're doing, Clint. So pick a number, or actually, it's not even. Yeah, I can't say that because that's going to give it away. Let me go back. I was going to say it doesn't have to be a number, but then now if I say that, you're going to know it's not a number, and you'll start guessing the other. So we're going to wait. We're going to wait for a second. Nobody guess. I'm going to wait for a few minutes. Don't let me see any numbers up there. Or actually, I'm going to start from where Matt has cheater up there. Number between 1 and 10. Go. Somebody's finally got it. Let me double check. I'm going to go down through here. So it's number 2. I think it's Clint. I'm pretty sure. I don't see a number 2 before him. And again, you got to make sure you're on all messages and not top comments. If you've got your chat set as top comments, they're going to be in a different order. So I'm seeing Clint with the first number 2 that I see. So now we got to shuffle it up a little bit. So Clint's the one that's in the running for this. Doesn't mean he's won anything. He's got to win the high-low game. Clint don't need whatever it is. So we got, it's a 10. We're going to do high or low on the 10, Clint. This card right here. He's saying lower. Oh, got beat. All right. Number between 1 and 10. It's out there. Got a number 7. I think it's Keys. Keys already has everything. We'll have to redraw. That's what he said. I've got Keys as the first number 7. Let's see what his card is. So this is Keys, high or low. Next card. It says lower. So it's got to be lower than a queen. Got you a 6, which is lower. So here's your options. You can get the loop dot video I put out today, the little flashlight with the game. You can get Klein quad socket, heavy duty. I don't have any plumbing tools, so you're out of luck on plumbing tools. Or Klein electrical test kit. So one of those 3. I don't have any plumbing tools. What's the quad socket? It is SAE quarter, 3/8, 7/16, 5/16, half, 5/8, and 11/16 and 9/16. You'll take the quad socket. All right. That's the gift for today. Make sure you email me, Keys. Yeah, make sure I get the right address because I know you moved, and I don't know if I'll probably send me which one I need to send it to. Because I know I've sent you stuff before, but I'll end up getting, if I go looking up addresses, I'm liable to get mixed up and send it to your old one. So. But I guess I'm gonna get off here and go in there and watch the rest of this football game. See how bad Josh Allen's hurt, I guess. Will you be getting the new M12 Surge if and when it comes out? 100%. The day that it hits the store or my mailbox, whichever one comes first. He's back, so Superman made it back. Only 2 L's tonight. Yeah, we didn't talk about me being on another level. But like I said, next Thursday is obviously Thanksgiving. So, and I know we're doing something that day. I don't know what the evening would be like anyways. I'm sure most of y'all are probably doing something. So I'll put out a post if we do a different day next week or something like that. I'll put out a post if we are going to do a live at whatever time it is and put it out early and all that kind of stuff. There is, I guess, the trade. There is one this Saturday. I got it. I actually got it filmed last Saturday and got it uploaded. So there is one for this Saturday. But we'll see y'all on the next one.